What's up, my wizards? It's Dev from SBMTG on the YouTube.com. Got some pretty exciting Aether Revolt spoilers for you today, if I say so myself. So let's go ahead and run into those. They're pretty cool. All right, the first thing I want to look at is the Planeswalker pack Planeswalkers that we got today. We saw both Tezzeret and Ajani, which is pretty good news, but we'll talk about these. I'm not really sure how good these actually are. And Wizards already has said that like these Planeswalker pack Planeswalkers are meant to be like bad Planeswalkers. So that kind of tells you all you need to know. Let me go ahead and show you Tezzeret right here. This is Tezzeret, Master of Metal right here. He's 6 mana. That's 4 generic, a blue and a black for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. And he's got +1 reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. His -3 is target opponent loses life equal to the number of artifacts you control, and his -8 is gain control of all artifacts and creatures target opponent controls. Okay, so all of the Planeswalkers we're going to look at today, all 3 of them, there's actually one in the main set that we got today too. All 3 of them cost 6 mana, and to be honest, all 3 of them could be a little bit better for 6, but again, Wizards kind of wants these Planeswalker pack Planeswalkers to be underpowered a little bit. And I think they hit the mark with this one. His +1 is guaranteed card advantage. It'll always net you an artifact. I do like the idea of playing like an artifact in your deck. Bye, Ziggy. Anyway, I like the idea of playing like 1 artifact in your deck, and then his +1 can just go and get it, no matter what it is. That's kind of a cool idea. But aside from that, I do like the second ability. -3 is an awful, that's a really high loyalty cost. But for -3, you can deal a bunch of damage to your opponent, depending on what kind of deck you're playing. And this definitely looks like it could slot into like a budget blue-black summonings or just a blue-black artifact deck with like Contraband Kingpin. Don't get me wrong, I mean, the card looks like it could go in that at the very, very top end of the curve, but I don't really know how much work it'll do, to be honest with you. It's just a lot of mana, and, you know, you have to have a good bit of setup for it. His ultimate is really good. I mean, I kind of like his ultimate, but even his ultimate, like, against control, will give you nothing. So there's that. So I'm not a huge fan of this Tezzeret. Hopefully we see one in the main set that's a little bit better than this. Although I will say, I do really like the art on this Tezzeret. If I had to pick like one thing I like the most about this card, it's definitely the art. He's looking really, really good. So there's at least that. And again, I guess the +1 is pretty good, I guess. But aside from that, I'm not seeing it. Here's the other Planeswalker from the Planeswalker packs. This is Ajani, Valiant Protector. It's a kitty. He's 6 mana. That's 4, a green, and a white for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker with +2. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature. +1, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And his -11, that's ridiculous, is put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is your life total. That creature gains trample until end of turn. Well, this is not great. Just like the Tezzeret, he really doesn't protect himself in any meaningful way, so that's kind of a problem. What I will say is that he's got 2 plus abilities. That's pretty good. You don't see that on Planeswalker every day, so you're always going to be ticking up his loyalty. He's got a +2 ability. That's kind of good usually, so there's that. I think I like it a little bit better than the Tezzeret. I like the +1 on him. You know, I like it a lot more than going and getting whatever artifact you hit first. I like going and getting whatever creature you hit first, especially in mid-range decks. That seems like it's probably good. So there's that. His ultimate is kind of nice, but they can just like murder the creature at instant speed. There's that. And, you know, it only hits the 1 creature. You have to have a creature out. It's -11. So, like, the ultimate is not game-winning. Like, I really don't think it's as game-winning as it's supposed to look like it is, you know. And again, neither one of these Planeswalker pack Planeswalkers protect themselves in any meaningful way, and that is a serious problem. Neither one of them make tokens or anything like that. But the card advantage is real, so there's that, you know. We're probably not supposed to focus on these too much, but it'd be nice if, you know, obviously Wizards has said that they're trying to balance these to where they're not strictly competitive, you know, they're not going to be at the top tier of standard. But let me just say that you could probably make them slightly better without the fear of them breaking standard. Let me just go with that. But we got the real Ajani from the actual main set today too. It was actually very, very late last night that they spoiled this card. This is Ajani Unyielding, and you know, the first thing we got was the Portuguese for this card, and it was like, it translated to Ajani Unshakable, and I was going to make a Kimmy Schmidt joke, but now I can't, you know, unshakable and all that. This feline is strong as hell, all that stuff. But that didn't pan out because that's not the actual translation of the card. The other thing I'm mad about, by the way, is that I've got my top 5 cards we want in Aether Revolt. I've got that video like ready to go. And Tezzeret and Ajani are both in that video. And so like the day that I'm going to release that video, Wizards shows us these. That's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm still going to put that video out because my Ajani and my Tezzeret are better. So stay on the lookout for that. This Ajani, by the way, I said this feline is strong as hell. That's just if you look at the art. Like, obviously, Ajani is buffed up. Like, he's huge now. He's like Garrick size now. Not really sure how that happened. He's wearing Elspeth's cloak, which is kind of sad because she's dead and he really likes her. But in any case, lore aside, just the actual function of the card, I'm going to go with the vast majority of the community on this and say that I am not a fan. I am really not. I might as well read this card to you. It's 6 mana, that's 4, a green and a white, just like the Planeswalker Pack one, for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker with +2. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Put all non-land permanent cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. -2, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. That's Swords to Plowshares. -9, put 5 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control and 5 loyalty counters on each other Planeswalker you control. Alright, so as far as I'm concerned, his first couple of abilities are not bad. Obviously, +2, ticking him up to 6 when he comes out into play is pretty good, honestly. And you get some card advantage off of it, but it's not the amazing thing everyone's saying. A lot of people, even the people that hate on the card, are saying that his +2 is insane. Great, one of the best card advantage things that's ever been on a Planeswalker. It has the potential to be, yeah, but you can also whiff on this in some decks. You want to play this in creature-heavy decks, obviously, but a lot of people are saying play this in control. If you play it in a dedicated control deck, you're going to whiff on his +2, like, a lot. And note that it's not permanent. Everyone thinks this is permanent. It's non-land. So if you get a land, you got to throw it away. You got to put it back on the bottom of your library. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that in a permanent heavy mid-range deck, maybe Bant, that could be a possibility. And there's other stuff, Naya as well, obviously. This could be real, but 6 mana, man. I mean, if we're paying 6 mana for a Planeswalker in this standard right now, I like Grim Nemesis. And a lot of people are saying this is just as good or better than Grim Nemesis, but this can't just win the game by +1ing over and over like Sorin can, And with Chandra, Flamecaller, she's just leagues ahead of this card as far as I can tell. So, I'm not the biggest fan. I do think his +1 or +2 is very good in a lot of situations. You can often draw 2 cards off of that if you build the deck correctly. So there's that, and his -2 is better than some people want to give it credit for. Swords to Plowshares is a very important piece of legacy removal, and having on this card is pretty nice. You just play him, go ahead and -2 him, get rid of the biggest thing on their side of the board. Sure, they gain life, but we don't, honestly, we don't care. Or at least control decks don't usually care. But again, I don't think we're playing this in a control deck unless we want to whiff on the +2 over and over. His ultimate is pretty nice, but it requires you to have a bunch of other stuff on the battlefield. But, even if you only have like a Sylvan Advocate and a Tireless Tracker out, you're still getting 2 enormous creatures. So that's cool. If you have one other Planeswalker out, then you've basically got an ultimate on that Planeswalker. Which, I will say you could read the ultimate like that, like ultimate all of your other Planeswalkers. That's pretty good. So this obviously goes in Super Friends. He's on color in some ways, at least, with Deploy the Gatewatch, Call the Gatewatch. So those things make it seem good, but is Super Friends going to be real? I'm just not. I hope so. It depends on what else we see in this set. But this card goes in very specific decks, and the decks that it wants to go in, like the control decks that everyone wants to put it in, don't really want it because they don't want to whiff on the +2. I'm not really sure. This doesn't look like we can just jam it into anything that exists currently. Like the aggro decks that want to play this don't want to play a 6 mana Planeswalker, so I'm just a little off on it. Maybe we'll see some other stuff in Aether Revolt that makes this card truly playable. And I will say the card's like playable in EDH, but you can say that about a lot of things. I'm just not really sure about the standard viability of this, which is dumb, because I love Ajani, because you guys know I'm the cat guy. I love cats. Ajani's one of my favorite Planeswalkers, and I really wanted them to do Ajani justice. And for all I know, they did. For all I know, there's a bunch of stuff in Aether Revolt that perfectly facilitates this or facilitates the Super Friends deck. But right now, just in a vacuum, I'm not seeing this in the current standard at all, So there's that. I want to be more excited about it. but I'm not. Let me know why I'm wrong in the comments. But for my money, the best card that we saw all day is the most recently spoiled card. As a matter of fact, I was getting ready to make this video, I was writing some stuff out, and I checked the spoiler one more time, and this card had just gotten put up. So this is pretty fresh right here. This is Heart of Kiran. This is 2 mana, it's 2 generic mana for a vehicle. It's a legendary vehicle. It's a 4/4 flying vigilance with crew 3, and you may remove a loyalty counter from a planeswalker you control rather than pay Heart of Kiran's crew cost. So first of all, let me just say that maybe that very last ability on the card is proof that we'll see some things for Super Friends in this set. You know, maybe we'll see some planeswalker related things. You know, that'd be cool. But now we've gotten out of the way. Holy crap! Jeebus! What? Like, the card is crazy. We thought Smuggler's Copter was good. This is ridiculous. Like, sure, you have to, crew 3. Crew 3 and it's legendary. There are definitely some downsides to the card. Whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. It's a 2 mana 4/4 flyer with another ability, by the way. And sure, again, crew 3, whatever. Toolcraft Exemplar. First turn Exemplar, third turn Exemplar, whichever one can crew this super easily. I mean, Depala crews it easily, and you get to draw the cards off Depala too. Like, what is this? Like, what is this? We thought that Smuggler's Copter was so crazy, and it turns out, like, the hate for Smuggler's Copter is just another vehicle. Right? Because this completely eats Smuggler's Copter alive. It's going to make those vehicles decks better. It's going to go in like every mid-range deck, Oh, Tyler's Tracker, third turn. Crew this thing, swing in for 4. Like, what? It's so dumb. The card is dumb. Like, I'm freaking out over this because we all thought Smuggler's Copter was the end-all, be-all for vehicles. And it might honestly be slightly better just because of its lower crew cost and the fact that it loots. The fact that it loots is one of the best things about the card. This doesn't do that. But it's got 2 different crew options. It's 1 power and toughness bigger than Smuggler's Copter at the same mana cost, and it's got 2 crazy abilities. So like, this is big. This is big, and maybe a chase rare from the set. Even though we haven't seen a whole lot of the set, right? This is like 6 cards from the set. Even though we haven't seen much, it's pretty obvious that this card is very, very high in power level. So don't even know what to say about it, honestly, other than like, wow, this looks not completely broken or anything, but it does look like it'll make those vehicles decks that much better, and it may warp the format even farther than what Looter Scooter has done. So, whew, wow, whew. That last card, this card is so serious. Like, we get 3 Planeswalkers and a card that's not a Planeswalker, and the card that's not the Planeswalker is the one that I am easily the most excited about. Like, I'm getting the vapors about that card. The thing is ridiculous. So let me know how you feel about that junk. That thing is, I'm sure that's making a lot of people really, really mad at how good it is. I'm sure that it is. But I like good cards, so there's that. But let me know how you feel about all these down there in the side, I was going to say in the sideboard. I just start calling the comment section the sideboard because that makes some sense. But let me know how you feel in the comment section about all these. Am I wrong on Ajani? The actual main set version of Ajani. Am I wrong about him? Am I too freaking out about Heart of Kiran? Because I am obviously freaking out, having palpitations about that thing. It also confirms that there will be vehicles in Aether Revolt. A lot of people weren't totally sure. Yes, there will be. This is confirmation, so there's that. But anyway, I'm tapped out. That's all I've got for this one. But I'm also going to be very soon here, hopefully in the same day, but you might have to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to be putting out the top 5 cards we want in Aether Revolt. And I don't care. They've already put out Ajani and Tezzeret. I'm going to show you my versions of them because I'm a little upset about these versions of these cards, and I'm going to show you my better versions. And also, other cards that could be in the set that I at least want. So stay tuned for that, and let me know how wrong or right I am in the comments section on this video. And like the video if you enjoyed the content, sub if you're new, do all that YouTube stuff. Check out the SoundCloud, whatever. Look at all our deck techs, all the stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm Deb from SBMTG. Thanks for watching, my wizards.